Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Germany once again for the first time in what feels like quite a little while, although I think in reality it really hasn't been that long since I reviewed a German beer. But for this one we're going to have a look at another example of one of my favourite traditional styles of German beer. And this is another brewery who I have never tried anything from before actually, so that makes it doubly interesting. For this review then, we are going to go down to Saxony, or Sachsen as you would call it in German, and to a little village called Zwönitz. So we're going to have a look at my first beer from Brauerei Zwönitz, or Brauerei Gasthof Zwönitz as they're also known. This beer is their Ziegenbock, which comes in at 7% ABV, and it is a Doppelbock. So yeah, basically a very strong brown malty type lager beer, this one. So yeah, one of my favourite styles, as I say. Probably the prime examples of this style of beer that you will encounter will be the likes of the Ayinger Celebrator, the Paulaner Salvator, I want to say the Weihenstephaner Corbinian, as well as a Doppelbock if I'm remembering rightly. I mean, there's some really great examples of this style of beer from the Munich area, but the interesting thing is that the Bock beers don't actually originate from Bavaria. They actually originate from Saxony, where this beer is from. They come from a little town called Einbeck, and when these beers were taken down to Munich, the Bavarians have a slightly different accent and they pronounced it like Einbock. So, you know, it was sounded like a billy goat. That's what it actually sounded. That's what the word sounded like in German at the time. So that is why you have goats on a lot of the labels for Doppelbocks and things like that these days, because of the difference between the Saxon and the Bavarian accents in Germany. So yeah, pretty cool, I have to say. But as I said, this is one of my favourite styles of traditional German beer. I'm a huge fan of the Rauch beers, of course. That's where my love of beer began. The Bamberg Rauch beers, you know, and later I discovered the Helles, the Dunkels and the Doppelbocks. And I do enjoy a good Schwarzbier and things like that as well, and I do need to explore the likes of the Dortmunders and the Alt beers and Kolsch's and things like that. I do need to explore those a little bit more on the channel. And some of the Goses as well would be quite interesting. It would be cool to go and see all the towns where these beers originate from. But yeah, definitely cool to have a Doppelbock beer from the region where the Bocks actually started out. So yeah, curious to see how this one turns out. So yeah, let's go for it, guys. As always with my reviews, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Brauerei Zwönitz. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, as I said. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the German beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to whenever I get the opportunity. Not as regularly as I would like. I would love to review German beers a bit more regularly for you here on the channel, but that's something we will look at sorting out over the next little while. But as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Brauerei Zwönitz then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you already, this brewery can be found in a small town called Zwönitz. It's about 12,000 people, and this is in an area known as the Erzgebirgskreis in Saxony, or Sachsen in Germany. And the kind of closest bigger cities, I guess you could say, would be Zwickau and Chemnitz. And if you look at the map, this little town is almost about halfway between Leipzig to the kind of northwestish and Prague in the Czech Republic to the sort of southeast, if you like. So yeah, it's kind of in that region. It's kind of at the bit in Germany where it goes like this. It's kind of around here on the corner between Bavaria and Saxony. It's just down there. But yeah, a kind of smaller town of about 12,000 people. But this town apparently had quite a rich brewing history, as most towns in Germany did. So there'd long been a Kommunbrauerei, or a kind of a common brewery, I guess you could say, a communal brewery, I guess you could translate that into English. But then in 1862, a group of 87 citizens sold the brewing rights of this brewery to a brewmaster known as Eckelmann. And he ran the brewery until 1879, when it was then taken over by the local municipality. Prior to this, though, in 1874, Heinrich Flade from Chemnitz and Webfactor Kunze from Niederwönitz They began the construction of a brewery on the Oberengasse, which was later known as the Annabergerstrasse, of course, and then this opened in 1875 under the name Felsenkeller Brauerei, which literally translates into English as the Rock Cellar Brewery. And of course, this whole thing goes back to the fact that in these days you didn't have artificial refrigeration, so a lot of breweries in Germany, they dug cellars in the mountains, in the rock cellars, and this allowed them to do the fermentation of the beers at the lower temperatures during the summer and things like this. So yeah, it was basically digging these rock cellars was basically a way to refrigerate the fermenting beers actually. But this brewery apparently remained in production until 1922, and then this new version, or this new brewery, Brauerei Zwönitz, this came into existence 75 years later. So the Zwönitz Brauerei was founded in 1997 by the Naumann family, and then in 2011 Dominik Naumann took over the running of the company from his father, and he now runs the brewery and the guest house. And according to Untappd, as of June 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, they've produced around 40 different kinds of beer. And yeah, there isn't too much information available actually on the company otherwise. They've got a beautiful looking kind of brewery restaurant type place. It's got all the kind of traditional German wood and things like that. It looks very, very nice if you look at the pictures. As I say, check out the brewery website in the description below. But the interesting thing about this brewery, I noticed when I had a little look at their web shop, they actually have an IPA and a stout, which of course are not native German beer styles. And this is one of the interesting things about the German beer scene just now, is that a lot of the traditional breweries are brewing styles of beer that they've never brewed before. I mean, in Bamberg and things, you're starting to get Weiss beers and stuff like this, which my friend Daniel tells me that they've never produced there. So yeah, really interesting times for the beer scene in Germany. A lot of the traditional breweries, who are famous of course for the one style, having a go at brewing other things actually. So yeah, pretty cool. But yeah, definitely nice to try this, to try another brewery, especially one from the region where the Bock beers originated. And yeah, that's all I can really tell you about Zwönitz Brauerei for the moment. And hopefully, I don't know, who knows, maybe in the future I can get to Zwönitz and take a little look at it. I've never been really to Sachsen, come to think of it. I'd love to go and see Leipzig, I think, and it'd be cool to go and see Chemnitz and Dresden and things like that. I've not really been and explored that region, that particular region of Germany. I've seen a lot of the former West Germany. I've seen Bavaria, I've been to, you know, I studied in Baden-Württemberg at Heidelberg, and I've seen a lot of the kind of northwest. I've been to Berlin and Rostock and things like that on the north coast too. There's still, you know, I've seen a lot of Germany compared to a lot of people, I think, but there's still a hell of a lot to actually explore. So yeah, that's all I can really tell you about Brauerei Zwönitz. As I've said, if you want to learn more, you can check out the brewery website in the description below. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, pretty impressive that they've got 40 different kinds as well actually. So let's get on and actually have a taste of this beer itself then. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. There you can see, I mean, compared to some of the other German beers, the artwork on this one is pretty modern, I have to say, and I do like it. It's kind of it kind of retains, it is a little bit old and German at the same time, but it does have a little bit more modernity to it than some of the other ones that you'll find. But I do like the kind of oldie German stuff. There you can see the little top label, and of course on the top it says "We love beer." On it. So I think this is quite a nice touch actually. But we got this beer here in Sweden through the Tillfällig assortment. I can't remember exactly when I got this one, but I think this has been sitting in my fridge for maybe about 6 weeks, 2 months, something like that. But yeah, it's a nice looking beer, this one. I do like how it all how it goes together. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. I'm very curious to see what it has in store for us. Like I said, this one is 7% Doppelbock. This is a lager style of beer, of course. It undergoes its fermentation at lower temperatures. Don't know what temperature exactly it is. There's something in my head that says it undergoes it at like 7 or 8 degrees or maybe 4 degrees. Those are the two numbers that are in my head for some reason, and I don't know which one it is. But yeah, this one looks very nice, and it's a very dark looking Doppelbock actually. They can be a range of colours. Of course, the thing that is going to affect the colour of your beer is how long the boil is, and also exactly what type of malts that you use in it. So yeah, the longer you boil the beer, the more the sugars caramelise, and then that can give you a darker colour. And again, depending on what types of malts you use, the beer is you know, that's going to affect the colour of the beer as well. But this beer, even though it doesn't really appear like that, this one, try and wipe the sweat off the glass, the condensation. This beer is actually a lovely dark ruby colour. I think you can see a little bit of that down the side there. But yeah, this beer is a lovely, lovely kind of ruby colour actually. There was a solid kind of quarter, third of a finger of a frothy, I would say ivory, almost, yeah, like ivory, very light beige. Yeah, a blend between ivory and very light beige coloured head on this one. There's one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head there, but you know, overall it does look pretty nice actually. But it's actually a lovely clear beer, this one. It won't appear like that on the camera just because of how dark it is, but this is a lovely clear sort of ruby. It does have a bit of a mahogany kind of edge to it, in fairness. Some of the Doppelbocks, as I say, they will be a little bit lighter than this. But you know, this one is not too far away from the colour of the... most Doppelbocks I think are not too far away from the colour of the glass here, but I think this one is a bit more darker and a little bit more ruby, and that, as I say, will just be down to the types of malts and things, and maybe how long the boil was actually. But yeah, a very, very nice looking beer, this one. In terms of, but nothing particularly surprising about this one when you consider what style it is. Just a little bit darker than some of the ones that I've come across recently. But yeah, okay, let's have a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. Very, very curious about this beer. Ooh, that smells very nice. Definitely smells very, very nice. Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of the, you know, in terms of the malt base then, straight away with this one you get a lovely kind of brown bready quality to it. You've got a nice, how would you say, it's got a lovely bit, you know, that German kind of rye bread quality. It's got that lovely, just big brown bready thing. I really miss that about Germany. The bakeries in Germany were fantastic. We had some really awesome ones in Heidelberg. But it's got that lovely kind of brown bready base to it. There's a lot of kind of toasty caramel in there. There's a bit of a sweeter caramelly element to it as well, but it does smell like a kind of nice, you know, it really does smell like quite a toasty, caramelly brown sugary note that's coming out of this one. There's a wee bit of a biscuity quality in there as well. There's a few kind of nutty and woody. Yeah, there's a bit, it's leaning a bit more towards the woody side of things in terms of the undertones. But it's got a lovely, slightly nutty edge to it, I have to say. So I really like how the the aroma of this one goes together. The malt base in this, I think it gets a bit stronger the more that you smell it. Actually, it's almost got a little bit. It's odd. It's almost when I smell this beer, it actually feels like it has a little bit of an almost menthol thing to it. I can feel it like clearing the tubes. You know, in here it feels. I'm not sure about that. Yeah, when I take this one in, it almost just gives me a little bit of a wee kind of menthol thing. I don't know. That's very unusual. But yeah, maybe it's me just imagining things, because somehow I don't think you're going to get menthol out of a Doppelbock. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, the caramelly notes in this are beautiful, like I say. So you've got a few nutty undertones to it. You've got a few kind of woody things in there as well, and a lovely sort of McVitie's digestive biscuity type quality. I really like how this one kind of goes together. But the brown sugars I think are quite nice and caramelised, and it's almost got a little bit of a slightly treacly type note to it, this one. So definitely one of the more treacly leaning Doppelbocks I think that I've had. This one does smell a wee bit darker than I remember some of the other examples being, but yeah, the malt base is pretty much what you would expect from this beer. Remember, they are lagers, so you will get a bit of breadiness out of them, but they shouldn't be kind of too thick in the way that some of the other beers and things will be. But yeah, in terms of the hoppy side of things, then you've got a little bit of a typical German noble earthiness out of this one. It will be probably Hallertau hops, I would think, that are in this one, when you consider the region that it's from. Tettnanger would be the other option. Exactly what one, who knows, but maybe it would be Northern Brewer that they would put in this, because Northern Brewer can give you those lovely sort of fruity notes. But yeah, it's got a good little bit of earthiness to it, and it's quite a bright earthiness, I would say. Some nice floral aromaticity, a little bit of a lighter kind of grassy quality in there as well, and you've also got, you know, you've also got a good little bit of as I say, you've got a good little bit of a sweet kind of caramelly note there that just backs everything up. The caramel just kind of takes over everything. But yeah, a little bit of lighter grassness, a little bit of floral character, and then you've got the fruity side of things. So this one has a little bit of that juicy plummy quality to it. It's got some nice kind of figgy notes in there. And it's got some nice kind of figgy notes in there, and you've also got a little bit of that kind of blackcurranty, blackberry-ish type thing coming out of it the further you go into the aroma as well. But yeah, I really like how the aroma of this beer goes together, I have to say. So yeah, take a bit of time and enjoy that aroma. The Doppelbocks always give you some really, really nice things, but let's have a taste of this one then and see how you get on. So this one is the Ziegenbock, a 7% Doppelbock from Brauerei Zwönitz in the the Erzgebirgskreis area of Sachsen in Germany. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange, Skål, Prost. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I like this one. First impression, it strikes me as very, very smooth. This is a very slick feeling Doppelbock for me. I really like this. It's a big thumbs up from me straight away. It's definitely one of the more kind of bready leaning Doppelbocks, I think. But as I say, that is just first impression. The more we drink of it, the more it might kind of change. Of course, the other thing to note when I'm tasting this beer is that normally the Germans would drink I think they drink the Doppelbocks in a kind of, a small stein normally. You do, because these are lager beers, you drink them out of the same stein that you would you would drink these out of the same sort of style of glass that you would a Helles or a Dunkel or something like this. But I like these tulip glasses because these are the best all-rounders for lots of different styles. I do like the tulip glass. But yeah, this is a nice beer. This one, this has got a lot of different. It's got a good bit of a different vibe to it from some of the other ones that I've had. And maybe it's different malts and local malts and things. This is one of the great things about the German beer scene. It's got such kind of locality to it. It's one of the kind of it's a kind of catch-22 for people like me who like trying beer from all over the place, because it is so regional. You've got to go to the region to get it, but then again, it is one of the things you can go anywhere in Germany and find different beers. It's a catch-22. So for people like me, it's a bit annoying, but then when you actually go and travel places, it's an awesome thing that you can always find something a little bit unique. But yeah, this is very nice. Let's try and break down this flavour then. This is a very nice example of the of this style of beer. So yeah, straight away with this one you get that lovely kind of brown bready, almost German rye bready quality thing. That just blankets the middle of your palate there. Lovely kind of brown bready notes. That's the thing that forms the backbone of the beer. The middle third of your palate is where you get the kind of sweetness, but then as you go towards the back of the tongue, you do get a little bit more of the graininess. The back third of your tongue is mainly that kind of brown rye breadish quality with a little bit of a kind of graininess coming out of it, and I really like that about this beer. So yeah, the nice kind of brown bready graininess that comes out of this one is great. As you move further forward into that middle third of your tongue, you can feel the brown bread forms the backbone of the beer. If you go to the front corners of your palate, then move kind of diagonally back a little bit, there's a few little woody undertones there. If you go to the very centre of your tongue and then just move a little bit further forward, you start to get one or two very slightly kind of nutty things to it, but that's very, very minimal. It is more bready, and the breadiness that comes out of this is a little bit more kind of grainy and things compared to some of the other beers that I've had, but at the same time it's got a lovely kind of smoothness to it. But yeah, in the centre of your palate, that's where you're getting that kind of, you get that nice kind of brown sugary quality to it. It's got a little bit of a toasty edge to it. In fairness, it does have a little bit of that kind of toasty edge to it, and it's got a wee bit of that darker kind of treacly molasses sort of thing. And as you move further out from that centre of your palate, you start to get a few more kind of biscuity things coming out of this beer, which is really nice. I do like how that goes together with this one. Yeah, the flavour of this is really nice. This is definitely one of the smoother and breadier Doppelbocks that I've come across, but I do like how it has a little bit of graininess to it as well, this one. As I say, the brown sugars are quite dark in this. I find them quite treacly, and at the same time they've got a nice little bit of a toastiness to them. Good bit of little biscuity malts in here. And yeah, I like the little kind of woody and nutty undertones that come out of this beer as well. I have to say, I really enjoy this one. This gets the malt base in this gets a big thumbs up from me. I would say compared to the Munich ones, it doesn't come across quite as crisp almost as they do. I find that the Munich ones, and I'm including the ones that I've had from the likes of Eyinger, Eyinger, Weltenberg, and Weihenstephan in this as well. They come across, I think, as a little bit crisper. It might just be due to the water difference. Water, I think, can affect the sort of mouthfeel of the beer, obviously, quite significantly. So I do find this one a bit kind of smoother and breadier and things like that. I don't know too much about what the beers in this particular region are like. As I say, I've not travelled to that region of Germany, although I would love to. So yeah, I do find this one to be very, very kind of smooth, though, actually, but it has all the kind of flavour traits that you would expect of this beer style if you're familiar with it. On the hoppy side of things, again, it's what you'd expect. You've got a nice little bit of earthiness there. In the back corners of the palate, it's quite a bright earthiness, but as you move further forward along the sides of the tongue, it does kind of smoothen out a little bit. You've got some nice floral aromaticity there, and as you go round the kind of front curve of the palate, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy in my mind. So I really like that aspect of the beer too. It's got a very nice kind of grassy edge to it in the beer. And yes, the hops have just kind of smoothened out very nicely in this one, and as I always say, behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that nice oily bubble, where the juicy fruity esters push their way out of the beer. And yeah, this one's interesting. The fruits, I find they're quite a bit darker, I think, in the flavour than they come across as being in the aroma. So yeah, there's a wee bit of a kind of sharp, there's a good bit of a juicy plum to this one when you take it in. Then it smoothens out, I think, to become a little bit more figgy. So yeah, when you take the beer in, it has just a little bit of a kind of plummy, raisiny type sharpness. Then it juices out, then becomes more sort of figgy, and that blankets that kind of front third of your tongue, if you like. And then as you go further into the aftertaste, the figginess kind of lingers there, but then you start to get a few little blackcurranty, blackberry notes coming out of this one, which is very, very nice. And then further into the aftertaste, you get more of a how would you say? You get more of a kind of bread. You get the breadiness, and the brown sugars just pushing their way out of the beer as well. So I really, really like how this one goes together. And yeah, it's got a big, it gets a big thumbs up from me. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again, and it makes me curious about some of the other beers that I've got. I'd love to have a go at their IPA and see what that's like, and if they've got a Helles and a Dunkel and things, those would be very nice beers to try as well. So yeah, maybe I need to go to Zwönitz and have a little look at it. As I say, I'd love to go and see Dresden and Leipzig, two of the cities in Germany I've never seen, but yeah, I'd be very curious to go there and see what they're like. But yeah, been very impressed with this beer, I have to say, in terms of its flavour. So with the mouthfeel, I'd say this one is... It's got a nice, yeah, it's kind of top end of mid-bodied, bottom end of full-bodied. Of course, with it being a lager beer, it's nowhere near as thick in things as, you know, the Imperial Stouts or the Belgian quadruples and things like that. So yeah, it is a little bit lighter than those, obviously, but for the style, I find this one a bit thicker in terms of just the actual Doppelbock style. This one, I think, is a little bit thicker than some of the other ones you're going to get because of the breadiness that it has. But yeah, nice kind of, overall I'd say it's a kind of top end of mid-bodied beer. The carbonation's very smooth in this one. It's a big oily mouthfeel, but at the same time it's got a bit of smoothness to it. The malt base, like I said, has a lovely smooth backbone to it. You've got some nice kind of toastiness there, a lovely bit of sweetness. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness out of this one. I would say you're talking about, I think it's maybe about 25-ish IBUs, something like that, although I think with this one the hops will have dropped a little bit because I've had it in the fridge for a wee while. But yeah, you've got a lovely kind of oily and juicy fruitiness to this one, so I really like how this goes together. So yeah, it gets a big thumbs up from me, this one, and I really, really like what I really like how this one's turned out. Definitely one of the more bready and kind of slick Doppelbocks that I've come across in recent times. So big thumbs up to Brauerei Zwönitz for this one. I think they've done an awesome job of this. So yeah. Curious to try more beers from these guys, but yeah, let's leave it at that. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Brauerei Zwönitz as well. Do let me know some other breweries from that Saxon region, or Saxony region, that I should check out. I do hope that I can get to Einbock at some point, or Einbeck. I'm doing the Bavarian accent. I do hope that I can get to Einbeck at some point and try a few of the original Bock beers as well. But yeah, this one was the Ziegenbock 7% Doppelbock beer from Brauerei Zwönitz in Zwönitz in the Erzgebirgskreis area of Saxony in Germany, not too far away from Zwickau. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Slàinte, Scott. Make sure you check out this brewery, make sure you check out this beer if you get the chance. Check out my social media, and I'll catch you guys very soon with some more German beer reviews. Slàinte, Scott. Prost.